So today I was showing my daughter how to kind of tend to the basil, how to cut it back so we'll get more growth, and how to actually create more basil plants off of what we already have here. And hold it steady, there you go. And I thought that would probably make a good video to do. So some of these basil plants, they'll get these big long sections of stem, and it makes them really leggy, like they're kind of fighting for some sun. So some of them will have multiple bunches of leaves on them, and you can cut those. So you can actually go in, you want to make sure you'll have leaves in other places, but I go in and, okay, nobody can see, and cut off this top part that's got a lot of good leaves on it. We'll harvest some of these, and then I'm going to show you how to get this to root and make more. Okay, so right in here, here's another good example. This one actually has a lot of growth on it, and I want to keep it bushy, not tall and stringy. So there's another one that we've cut off. All right, so here are some of the cuttings that we took from the basil outside earlier. And I wanted to show you how I propagate these so you can actually get more basil plants. If I were to take these and just kind of stick them out in the dirt, some plants will actually repropagate themselves, like they'll grow roots out in the dirt. I haven't had a lot of success doing that with basil. So I will take it back out and show you how to replant them once they do get roots. But I like to take these and place them into some water, and I use a rooting hormone, and I let them kind of soak until they grow roots. Now, once this plant has grown some roots, I'm going to let this one go even a little bit longer. These are good roots, but not enough, just because it is over 90 degrees during the day here, and I need it to be able to get moisture out of the soil. That's been in here for about, I would say 2 weeks. This is one that I didn't even know if we were going to be able to keep. It is in here because it suffered some damage, but if you can see, it's got that tiny little root there on the side that's just starting to grow. You can take these and just drop them into some water, and some of the time they will root, but not all the time. The best way to make sure that you're going to get your basil plants to take root, what I like to do is just, you want to make sure that you have a node. So usually I'll try to cut these. If you can see on the bottom, there were leaves that came off either side of this, and I cut it right there so that I would have an opportunity to get a node or a root started there. And then right here in this upper area, there were leaves, and I take those off, I harvest those. And since I don't have a need for them like right today, I typically will dry them just the same way I did the dill, if you've seen the dill video. But I'll just trim those up. And then I use a rooting hormone. This one is Bontone 2 by Bonide Rooting Powder. I just picked this up at Home Depot. You can order them online. I'll put a link in the description to Amazon. And I'll just sprinkle some out into a little container, and I just dust the end of the plant so that it has a little bit of rooting hormone on it, and then I put it in the water. You want to make sure that it's in the water deep enough to where it's going to get those nutrients and be able to soak those up. Now, the container that you use, this one looks a little cloudy because of the rooting hormone, but you do want to change the water in this at least once a week. And you don't want to overcrowd it with too many plants. The whole point is they need a little extra sunlight than they normally get to develop those roots. So I put it near a window, but not necessarily in bright sun, because they don't have a root system, and so they're not absorbing enough water, and they could actually just burn and die off. I've had a few that happens to. You also don't get 100% of the plants that you cut that will grow roots. So then I just harvest them, use them in a salad or anything like that. So this is just a little jar. I also have an obsession with candles. So once the candles are gone, I have a really cool way to make sure all the wax is out and get the labels off. And then I use them just either I have a propagation container where I propagate some of my house plants. These are some pothos that I actually cut off a mother plant and used. I actually cut these off a mother plant, put them in some rooting powder, and put them in my propagation box. And look at how healthy and happy they are. And this one's even getting a new little leaf. Yeah, I'm obsessed. So I hope that this is helpful. I hope that you're able to expand your basil crop. And I will show you how, once these are rooted, you can put them back outside and just increase how much basil you're getting. All right, so this is that piece of basil that had some great looking roots on it. I just dug a hole and planted it as if it was out of a container, right? Like a container plant. Made sure all the roots were covered and then watered it in really well. Like I said, we've had some 90, I mean, today was a 90+ day again, but you can see it's putting on new growth. It's very, very happy. And these are all basil seeds. So because basil is something that we use a ton of during the summer, I also sprinkled some seeds in here. Just kept the soil moist enough for them to pop up and get started. And then I will treat them the same way. You can see these are where I took some cuttings, right? So I cut the top off of this. Lots of new leaves. Lots of, oh, get out of the way there. Lots of new growth going on from those plants that I cut. So just wanted to give you guys a little update and let you know this is a great way to multiply and add to your basil plants. Look at this new growth down here. Oh, that's the cutest. So see, this plant right here, I could actually cut down once those leaves get a little bit bigger, and that'll keep your basil really bushy as opposed to getting these long sections of stem that don't have leaves on them or anything that's harvestable.